Hi, my name is Shy and I shave my head all the time. I never let it grow out, and I wanted to make this video for those of you who are considering shaving your head to give you a list of reasons why you absolutely should, or don't. It's your body. You get to do whatever you want. Keeping my head shaved and not having hair to worry about has helped me feel so much more comfortable in my own body, has really helped me work through my body dysmorphia, which I've struggled with since as far back as I remember. Pretty much as long as I've been aware that I have a body, I've struggled with negative self-image to the point it's body dysmorphia. It's not just insecurity. It's been this really severe self-loathing triggered by just like this distorted view in the mirror. And shaving my head has really helped me overcome a lot of that, and I wanted to talk to you about it. There are dirty dishes behind me because I'm a real person, and I was way too lazy to collect everything to go downstairs and tidy up for this video. I'm very sweaty. I'm not wearing a curated outfit in any way. And we're just gonna get into it. I don't know about this angle. That better? Whatevs. I've been shaving my head since I was probably about 18 the first time that I did it. I remember attempting to do an undercut. It wasn't necessarily my intention to shave my whole head. I wanted to shave some part of my head, but in the back of my mind, I knew that I'm not a hairstylist, and if this goes wrong, I would have to be prepared to potentially have to shave it all off. I think. It might not have even been that conscious of an awareness, but I started trying to do an undercut that failed horribly. So I was like, fuck, okay, now I don't have any hair back there and this looks fucked up. And so I think I finessed it, shaved like just the side of my head and like worked some magic and like made it work, but I still had some hair. Didn't like that, and so I ended up shaving everything off. My intention at the time was I was experimenting when it came to like my gender presentation and was sort of getting to know myself better in that way, kind of figuring out like how do I feel about myself and my identity, especially when it comes to like physical presentation and like what it means to be, I don't know. Now I identify as gender nonconforming, but back in the day when I was 18, I'm 24, about to turn 25, I didn't really have too sure of an idea of who I was in that regard. I felt a pull towards androgyny has always been like so beautiful to me. And it was a really big leap for me to make the decision to shave my head, because that was like me really fully diving in, being like, okay, we're exploring ourselves now. Let's see how this feels. And at the time, it was really uncomfortable for me. I was very much tied to what I had considered to be my femininity. Femininity is a very like, what even is that, you know, in this day and age? Like femininity and masculinity to me is more so an energy than having anything to do with gender, right? But back then, everything was very new, and I'm pretty sure like only recently come out as queer, and to do something like that just felt really like I didn't have the crutch of looking like a cis straight woman, and that was really, really vulnerable for me to see the way that people treated me differently, to see the way that I was perceived. It felt like it wasn't within my control in the same way how people perceived me. And also at the time, I wasn't ready to confront, or maybe wasn't fully conscious of how much I relied on, like cis straight male validation when it came to my physical body. So to have cis straight men look at me in this specific way, where I'm now like this like weird girl, like why would she shave her head, like why is she, is she trying to make herself look ugly, like I don't get it, does this mean she's gay, just like, like they can't compute like why a person wouldn't like perform gender in the way that they're used to. And I just, I was young and I didn't have quite the sense of self that I do now. So I tried it and I like tried to stick with it, but it definitely made me more uncomfortable than I could fully handle. And so I grew it out. And then when I was about 21, I had met someone one summer who is my very best friend to this day, and felt for the first time like I had met somebody who really saw me for who I am, like the energy within me, as opposed to whatever else. I felt like this person just like got me, and that it was a safe space for me to be as authentic and vulnerable as I'd always wanted to be with another person. And I think one night I was feeling really impulsive and just like wanted to shed, this layer of myself that I felt was holding me back from embodying my most authentic self. And I texted this person and was like, I really want to shave my head. And they were like, do it. And that encouragement, that just like not even thinking, them just being like, do it, yeah, do it, was really, because normally in my experience, like people had reacted so like either telling me not to do it, like family members, like heck no, they wouldn't want me to do that. I had partners, friends, it's just, always been like a fucking big deal for some people what I do with what I look like. And so for someone to just like make it, not that like it wasn't a big deal in the sense that like he didn't care, but it was just like, so I just felt held in that moment and knew that no matter what, like that I would have somebody who supported me in this journey. So I did it, and I showed up at his house and he opened the door and there I was in my shaved head, and I felt really, really good. Really, really like myself. And then when I think I rocked that for like a year. And then I started dating someone who I really didn't feel comfortable being my fullest self around, and who came from just like a different background than I did. And even though we met when I had a shaved head, and obviously that means like they're attracted to me while I have a shaved head, I like felt, and I can't blame this all on them because maybe that had, a lot to do with my own insecurities, but it just didn't feel like a safe space for me to continue to be this gender fluid person that I am. And I tried really, really hard to turn into whatever it was that I thought they wanted me to be. So I grew my hair out and I started wearing a lot more dresses and putting on more makeup, and was just like trying to be, again, whatever version I thought this person wanted me to be. Fast forward a few years later, last September, I think it was, I had gotten out of that relationship, and like realized how much I had lost myself and how I had just spent the past 2 years trying so hard to be this other person, realizing that like no one had asked me to do that. Like I willingly signed up to make myself small. to make myself feel like it wasn't okay to be who I am. Because at the end of the day, regardless of like what other people want me to be, it's my choice whether or not I consent to letting that like dictate how I show up in the world, right? So it just hit me, like I had gotten out of this relationship and I felt the most insecure, the farthest away from myself that I ever had in a relationship ever before. And I didn't, I remembered, like, wait a minute, you're the type of bitch who will shave her head and not give a fuck and, like, walk around and, like, embody this bright and shiny human being who sincerely is so passionate about being vulnerable and being real. And, like, I very much believe that when we allow ourselves the space to be our most authentic selves, when we are vulnerable, when we show our dirty dishes in the background, it allows other people to do the same, you know, to let their guard down. I feel like especially like growing up on social media, growing up as the like weird millennial Gen Z hybrid that I am, there's just so much emphasis on and so much importance put on curating this identity that needs to be like squeaky clean and flawless, and like presenting yourself on the internet. There's just like so much self-consciousness that can go into that. And I totally understand why. Like, so many people are watching you, you know, like you want to, it makes sense why you want to like show your most polished self. But at the end of the day, that's just not how I want to live my life, because it ends up hurting me. So last September, I shaved my head again and remembered who I am, remembered that I'm the kind of person who can do this and not bat an eye. Well, now I can't bat an eye. I can't, the other times in my life that I've shaved my head, I was a lot more self-conscious. But this time around, I don't know if it has to do with age or I don't know what. I definitely will say that I feel like I have a more secure sense of self, and I've done a lot of work to get here, but I feel like that plays a huge part in why I'm able to walk around with the body that I have and have no hair and just pretty much not give a fuck. There are so many ways that I can and will change as I grow older and as I have different experiences and sink into a deeper awareness of my truest self. But honestly, I can't foresee myself growing out my hair in the near future. I really, really enjoy not having hair. It forces me to not identify with my body, which is something that I've done my whole life, like over-identified with my body and derived my sense of worth based on what it looks like. And I've always had this like idea, despite like deep down not believing in, like bodies needing to look a certain way. Like I look at other people who look so different than me in whatever way that I'm afraid of looking, and I see them and I'm like, God damn, that's a beautiful person. But when it comes to me, I'm so critical, and I feel like this is a thing that we all share. It's a really common thing for like our morals and beliefs when it comes to body image, for like us to allow so much grace for others to be their, like most authentic, most like lovely selves, no matter what they look like. But when it comes to like us, we don't give ourselves the same support. Having a shaved head just like forces me to confront that every single day, and every single time that I look in the mirror, it's like, you don't got hair, bitch. Like, you're already there. You're already really fucking vulnerable. Like, you kind of have no choice but to be like, fuck it. This is what I look like. Like, people are gonna judge me anyway. Always. Like, I don't know. I'm losing my train of thought. I highly recommend experiencing this at least once. Of course, if it's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea. You don't have to be like me. You don't have to feel the same way that I do about my body, about yours. But I will say that this has been an incredibly empowering experience and really does force a person to feel comfortable in their own skin, you know, like, because it's the way I see it, like, for me, I'm not saying that, like, anyone else should think this way, but, like, this is what goes on in my head when I step out into the world, is that, like, I'm expecting that people are going to look at me funny. I'm expecting that people are going to judge me. I'm expecting that people are going to, like, have, you know, an idea already in their head of who I am, and how I live. I'm expecting, like, there's so many people who, like, look at me, and are like, oh my God, I could never do that, or oh my God, I'd feel so insecure, or oh my God, like, how can she let herself look like that? And I know that, so in my head, I'm like, stand tall, like, chin up, you know, like, puff out that chest and, like, strut down that sidewalk, because, like, all these fuckers are, like, looking at you and, like, making a scene and expecting that to, like, have some kind of effect on you. Like, I have to be confident up in this bitch, you know? I have to, like, love myself. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, let them get to me? Like, walk around with my head down? Like, this is just what it is. I'm forced to really fucking have my own back and to, like, really celebrate my own body. And that's what I gotta say about that. Thank you for listening. I don't know if this helps anybody. I feel like I didn't really give you reasons to do it. I just kind of told you my experience. But if this resonates, or if this is encouraging or provides you with any sort of hope that it's going to be okay, if you really want to do this, like, you can have a good time, like, that fear of judgment, as valid as those feelings are, is that really a good enough reason to not do the shit that you want to do? Like, you could die tomorrow. You could die in 5 seconds. You could have a brain aneurysm and just, like, pass the fuck out, and then, like, it's over. And, like, I got hit by a fucking car 2 years ago, and there was a moment when I swear this ties in. I got hit by a car, and there was a moment while the car was hitting me, it was happening, and then I, like, slammed my hand down on the hood. It was a Jeep, by the way. I slammed my hand down on the hood to try and get this person's attention, because it was clear that they weren't noticing that they were literally hitting my body with their car. And they still didn't notice, despite, like, me making a sound. They still didn't notice that they were hitting me, and they still kept driving. And then I had this moment where I was like, oh, this could, I could die right now. Like, that's what this could be. Because she, like, doesn't notice, and I thought she'd notice when I, like, made a big sound on her car, but, like, she still doesn't get it, and she's still currently running me over. So I had, like, a few, just, it's a flash, like, just a millisecond of, like, thought and, like, processing this information. And I had to, like, it was, like, a moment of being like, well, okay, all right, I guess I just have to be okay with this if this is how I die. Like, this, like, really quick acceptance. But then, like, honestly, a mild disappointment. I was like, damn, is this, like, was that all? Like, that's all I got to do on this planet? Like, I've wasted so much fucking time worrying about what other people think of me, and, like, I haven't even gotten to, like, the juicy part where I'm, like, the baddest, like, bitch that I, like, innately am. Like, I haven't even gotten to the part where I, like, fully show up as that person in my life. I'm like, things still limit me so much, and I'm still, like, so ruled by fear. Like, that sucks that I would go right at this moment, because, like, I never fully got there. And so, with that, do what you gotta do, because you never know when you're gonna get hit by a car. All my life I had been joking that I would This is gonna sound fucked up, but I know I'm not the only one who's made this joke. But all my life, I was like, every time I've been really broke, I've been like, damn, what if a car just hit me and like I got hella money? Or like, what if I got run over by a bus and I got hella money? Be careful what you wish for, because I was just minding my own business and a literal car hit me. I manifested that shit. So, moral of the story is, shave your damn head. Okay? Love you.